Cody Einstein Garbrandt has once again expressed his ideas and desires to move down to that flyweight division, and this whole discussion has been brought up again over the past few days about what we're going to do with Deiveson Figueiredo since he won the flyweight belt against Joseph Benavidez in their rematch. It was an amazing performance. Everyone's talking about the flyweight division, which means we're also talking about Cody Garbrandt moving down into that flyweight division for some bizarre reason. I have no idea why this topic keeps coming up, but it started all the way back in March of this year at UFC Columbus. Cody Garbrandt was supposed to be fighting Rafael Assunção in the co-main event of Ngannou versus Rozenstruik. That event later on got cancelled, but before that event was cancelled, Cody Garbrandt was pulled off of that card for a liver problem that he suffered during the camp for that fight. He had to be pulled off the card. His comeback was a little bit postponed against Rafael Assunção. We got to see it at UFC 250, and it was a good performance from Cody Garbrandt. He landed a big shot. He KO'd Assunção at the end of that second round. Walk-off KO. Everyone knows the story somewhat, but this all started all the way back in Columbus. UFC Columbus, March. Cody Garbrandt talks about moving down to the flyweight division after suffering from what I hear was liver failure. He suffered from liver failure, and he wanted to move down to the flyweight division. I don't think the liver is attached to the brain, but somehow it seems to have affected his brain as well from his liver having some problems, and he wants to move down to the flyweight division. I just feel as though this is the stupidest idea I may have heard, because I don't think that a lot of guys have success moving down in weight, and I don't think it's a way out. I think the only way out in MMA that really seems to work, as we've seen over time, is to move up and get a new look against guys bigger than you, because the weight cut seems to be the problem for Cody Garbrandt. Not really, but his ability to take damage is the real problem, and one thing that's not going to help that problem is choosing to cut an extra 10 pounds of weight to move down to flyweight. And listen, even if Cody Garbrandt says he's not going to cut more weight, what's he going to lose? 5 pounds? He's not a huge guy. It's not like Cody Garbrandt is this big muscled up guy that's going to just shred off 10 pounds of muscle and then move down to that flyweight division where he belongs. He's a big guy for the bantamweight division. He is Piotr Yan sized, maybe even bigger than Piotr Yan. You saw their square off after Yan beat Uriah Faber. They were squaring off with each other. Now I know that Cody Garbrandt had shoes on at that time, but still, he's not a small bantamweight. You never hear me arguing that Piotr Yan should move down to the flyweight division, and Yan and Garbrandt are the same size. It makes zero sense for Cody Garbrandt to move down to the flyweight division. Not to mention, the people who have moved down in divisions, Jose Aldo is the most recent one that I can really think of. That's a big profile name that tried moving down in divisions. I was worried for Jose Aldo moving down. I picked Marlon Moraes to win by TKO. He ended up winning by decision, a close decision. I picked him to win by TKO in the first round. He almost did with the switch kick to the head, but I was worried about Aldo's chin coming down in weight after taking a lot of damage at featherweight. You know, he got TKO'd by Max Holloway, he got KO'd by Conor McGregor as well. The KO to Conor McGregor was the main damage. I also felt like now looking at these two situations, comparing him and Garbrandt, maybe the TKO losses to Holloway weren't so bad because they were mainly due to fatigue and volume, and it wasn't really like he was being concussed and dropped and wobbled every single second and then he just got completely shut out cold. It wasn't really like that. He got volumed, he got pressured, he got broken down, and he eventually quit. Now there's a lot of damage that comes with that, but I was worried about Aldo even after he went on to beat Renato Moicano and took shots off of Jeremy Stephens. I was still worried about his chin moving down to that bantamweight division. Cody Garbrandt, I understand, just KO'd Rafael Assunção and looks really good doing it on UFC 250's co-main event. Don't get me wrong, looks really good doing it. But those 3 last KO losses did happen, Cody Garbrandt. You got KO'd by TJ Dillashaw twice, really badly. Not too badly, but then you got KO'd by Pedro Munoz really badly. A jiu-jitsu specialist, Pedro Munoz, KO'd you really badly. Why on earth would you be thinking of cutting more weight to save your career? I know what Cody Garbrandt wants from this, by the way. And to be fair to him, Cody Garbrandt has not brought this conversation up again recently, but it has been something that he's been teasing for a very long time now. In fact, over the past few days, he hasn't mentioned this at all, because I'm assuming he wants to focus on fighting Marlon Moraes, but actually Brett Okamoto has brought this up for an opponent for Figueiredo. He said, what's next for Figueiredo? Brett Okamoto tweeted this out, said, I don't know, maybe Cody No Love could move down to the flyweight division and challenge him. I hear he's still up for that idea. Why though? that doesn't save the flyweight division whatsoever. It seems like these people are so thick in the brain, how they are so removed and so far gone from knowing what people want right now. No one wants Garbrandt at 125, Brett Okamoto. No one. Some people might. Those people maybe should seek medical attention. But some people might want Cody Garbrandt to move down to that flyweight division. You know what I think 90% of the MMA fans want right now? Moraes versus Garbrandt, Yan versus Sterling, and Figueiredo versus Moreno, or someone else in the flyweight division. Let's just let Figueiredo defend his belt and do what Figueiredo does. That's what the majority of the fans want. No one wants, and this will not fix the flyweight division whatsoever, we need a defending champion in the flyweight division. That's what we need to fix it. We need someone who's going to do what Figueiredo does, which is have amazing performances that draw the attention of the masses as to how brutal they are after his last performance against Benavidez in a rematch. Everyone's tuning into Figueiredo from now on. I'm assuming he's had 2 brutal KOs back-to-back and 2 brutal performances back-to-back. His last performance even more impressive than the first time he fought Benavidez as well. Let's let Figueiredo be his own star for a second. Defend against Brandon Moreno. Defend against maybe an Askar Askarov versus Alex Perez winner. Something like that could happen next. Give Alex Perez and Askar Askarov a good position on a card, maybe sandwich them between a great main event and a great feature fight and put them as the co-main event, give them that shine, then use them to give them a title shot against Figueiredo versus Moreno winner. But let's just build that division on its own. One thing that will not fix the flyweight division, and it's something that they keep trying to do, is a splash in the pan. Never works. Because Cody Garbrandt, if he goes down in weight, and let's say he beats Figueiredo, I'm not sure that would happen because I would worry about Garbrandt's chin moving down in weight and cutting even more weight. I don't know why he's even talking about it, but I would worry. But let's say it does happen in some world. In this world, Cody Garbrandt moves down to the flyweight division, beats Deiveson Figueiredo. Great, right? No. Is he going to stay at the flyweight division? I would hazard that there's about a 1% chance that Cody Garbrandt, after beating Deiveson Figueiredo, would think, you know what? I want to defend against Askar Askarov next. I really, really doubt that that would be something Cody Garbrandt would want to do. I would assume that Garbrandt would want to move down to flyweight, take the belt from Figueiredo, and use that belt as leverage to get a title shot at bantamweight and become a 2-division world champion. 99% chance that happens. And that would ruin the flyweight division altogether, because now we'd have another champion, as we've had with Demetrius Johnson and Henry Cejudo, who has had the belt for a long time and has left the division. I know Demetrius Johnson lost to Henry Cejudo in the rematch, even though I thought Demetrius Johnson won that fight in the rematch. No one seems to talk about it, but you know, he got the belt taken away from him from Cejudo, but then Cejudo left that flyweight division. The guy who saved the flyweights left the flyweight division, left the bantamweight division, and almost destroyed both of them in the process. There's nothing worse for a division than not seeing the title get passed over. There just isn't. Look what happened to Robert Whittaker. Never got the championship credit that he deserved because we never saw GSP versus Whittaker. We never saw the belt change hands from one guy to the other, and it does hurt a division. We saw this at welterweight as well when GSP first left. There was a little bit of a sour period. We don't know who the real champion is. DC never got his credit when John Jones was, as everyone assumed, the real champion of the light heavyweight division when DC took the belt while Jones was gone. He never got that credit. Let's not do that to the flyweight division. Let's just have a champion that defends against contenders for a bit, builds his own name if he is successful at defending against those contenders, which I believe he will be. And let's do that for now. And then we can talk about super fights, and maybe Figueiredo moves up, and then maybe write it in Figueiredo's contract that if he does move up, his next fight has to be back down at flyweight afterwards. That's how we can get him the super fight that he wants. Hey, Figueiredo, we're going to do you this favor. You can have a super fight, but you must agree that your next fight in your career will then be defending your flyweight belt, because it just ruins them. It ruins the divisions. I don't know why Cody Garbrandt, of all people, was thinking about moving down. It makes no sense. Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno have already been in contact with each other, talking about their next fight in November. Whether that's the headliner of a fight night or on a main card of a pay-per-view, I don't know. But Figueiredo versus Moreno, they've been talking back and forth on Instagram, chatting to each other. Figueiredo says, you're next in November. It seems like we've got a pretty clear plan. Let's not ruin this by just throwing Cody Garbrandt in there just like, oh, well, we don't know what to do, so let's just throw this big name in there and see what happens. No. Let's let the division mature and let Figueiredo hopefully do what Figueiredo does, which is put on impressive performances against the other flyweights and build his own star value that Demetrius Johnson never could. Let's just try it, because I feel like we've got something with Figueiredo here. He's a savage. He's from the Northern Ireland. He's not from Northern Ireland. He's from the Northern Ireland. It's exactly the same word. I don't know why I tried to say it differently. He's from the Northern Isle of Brazil. Okay? Not from Northern Ireland. That would be very weird. Imagine if Deiveson Figueiredo came out with a Northern Irish accent after a win. That would be crazy. But still, Cody Garbrandt should not move down to the bantamweight, flyweight division. It's fucking retarded. He's not a big he's not a small bantamweight whatsoever. Like, I could maybe understand if John Dodson wanted to make another run at the flyweight title. I'd say, you know what, John Dodson, you're a small guy. Let's trim off a little bit of muscle mass and make another run at the flyweight belt. I'd be open to that idea. I know John Dodson's taking on Merab Dvalishvili coming up soon. But still, that's next weekend. Oh my god, that's next weekend. That's crazy. But still, I'd understand that move. Cody Garbrandt, you're not a small guy for that division. Please don't ruin yourself even more. There's one thing that I would not trust. It's a guy who gets KO'd pretty easily, choosing to cut more weight and go to a smaller division, where the guys are faster, and by the way, the champion of that division has vicious KO power. But maybe take the gamble. This is the thing. Maybe the UFC takes the gamble, and they give Garbrandt to Deiveson Figueiredo, hoping that Figueiredo KOs Garbrandt stiff, and makes the division look really good in the process, and makes Figueiredo look really good in the process as well. But there is that chance that Garbrandt goes down, wins, and ruins the entire division. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye. It's a stupid idea. Fuck Cody Garbrandt.